Put all your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt, though the sun has almost set. Make the most of it. I know we will dance and sing. There's a heat wave. There's a heat wave rolling in. There's a heat wave, yeah. There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Bit of
A little nonsense is what I need. Now if you wanna get the best of me, got you smiling, that's for sure. Funny how you had the best of love. I don't know if I'll make it home. I don't know, not like I care. All I know, turned up this gold. Only know I want the best of us. So I dance the night away when nobody's awake. I'll be the last to stay. Dance the night away, no matter what they say. Dance the night away when nobody's awake. I'll be the last to stay. Dance the night away, no matter what they say. 2 a.m. and you lost your friends. Pretend I don't know how this night will end. I feel your heartbeat, the DJ plays. Oops, I did it again. I don't know if I'll make it home. I don't know, not like I care. All I know, turned up this gold. Only know I want the best of us. So I dance the night away when nobody's awake. I'll be the last to stay. Dance the night away, no matter what they say. Dance the night away when nobody's awake. I'll be the last to stay. Dance the night away, no matter what they say. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away. No matter what they say. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away. No matter what they say. That's the night away when nobody's awake. I'll be the last to stay. That's the night away, no matter what they say. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away. That's the night away, no matter what they say.
Welcome everyone to the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series for tonight. We have round 4 Monza, take 2 for split green tonight, so a bit of a special one. For those who weren't around last week, round 4 at Monza for split green and split red were both red flagged. So tonight we'll be running split green's Monza round. In the box tonight, I have Cameron and Connor joining me tonight. Boys, how are we?
We're very good, thank you. I can see it's the weather hasn't changed much since the last week. It's remained consistent, and looks like we're going to be treated to a fully wet qualifying here in Monza.
Yeah, a bit the same as last week. It'll be interesting to see if heaps of people put in the wet practice, as probably a bit of an inkling that, and yes, there is a moisture update, but probably after last week's quali, a bit of an inkling that it would be wet again. Yeah,
absolutely. Looking forward to a bit of a terrible weather retake of this round. It was some good fun and some spicy racing that we saw in the first half of Wednesday's racing last week, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the times come through as we have another wet quali session. See who has and hasn't done the practice.
Definitely had some outliers. I remember last week, I think Jake Brown in the Porsche was that, it's a Ferrari 471 goes for a quite slip and slide through Ascari and a little bit on exit as well, giving Brad Cook something to think about as well. But yes, Jake Brown in the Porsche, I remember had an amazing qualifying last week, and definitely got a really good jump at the start. I think he took the lead. Unfortunately, the rest of the night didn't go as smoothly, and hopefully he can recreate that similar performance with a silver driver. It's definitely exceeding his expectations.
I have something for you. Let the qualifying aside, is Benjamin Hignett running a steak car?
Yes. I think is that the Lady Gaga dress special that he's got on there at the moment?
There definitely would be uncooked forms of meat as he missed turn 1, and that's probably because of the extra weight.
Yeah, that is... Look, I understand Mr. Hignett here has kind of made it his mission to burn our eyes out with the livery that he's got going. For those unaware, he was wearing denim last week. And we've got instead of the steak F1 team, we have the steak F1 team rare. So not only has he got an awful, awful livery, that's very photoreal, he's gone for the pun as well. And I don't know how I feel about this.
And it's yes. He did the the old spell check. Good on you, Ben.
It's
a bit of crayon
really
there. That's definitely his handwriting too.
It's not really the meme that pains me. It's the execution where these people always paint like the window frames and parts that wouldn't be painted. It's just that's what gets me. The diffuser and everything is just like, like it's it doesn't look realistic. That's the immediate problem.
Thanks, Ben. I hate it. He's got Brad Cook right up behind him there, and based on Cook's qualifying last week, I'm sure he's potentially put in a little bit of extra time to see how far up he can start. As there we go, Brad Cook comes across the line, 156.3 with Hignett a full 2 seconds behind, as we did see him take what I think's the WRC line through Ascari on that last lap. So definitely looking to improve there. We see a few cars coming across the line there. Smithy there's only a couple of tenths behind Cook at the moment, so definitely hot on the heels. Now we see Raschuti and Weatherburn have both come across the line with only a second behind and 5 thousandths between them. We see a lot of people finishing off their fast laps at the moment. Who am I there? It's Tufik. I don't believe... Tufik was here last week, so he's definitely got the pace down, doing a 155.8, well and truly in front of the pack at this point in time.
I wonder if the track is that is a line into turn one. I wonder if the track is drying up exponentially, like even by the lap, as Jake Brown does a little skid coming out of the corner there. We've got a good viewpoint here. Look at all the puddles and stuff. It'd be kind of treacherous driving.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the rain's still coming down at the moment. I'm not sure how much of a... Oh, that's a curb hop. Well done. But it does look like the rain is supposed to stop between now and the next 10 minutes. So it could be a case that the last couple of laps may be where the speed will be at, as the track might dry out just a smidge.
There's 3 hours between this qualifying session and the race. The race starts at 3 p.m. in-game time, so you can see at the time at the top. So not a lot of time for this track to dry out if it stays dry come the race.
Yeah, for sure. I think... was that Godfrey in the God-awful livery?
No, it was someone else.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it. Get off it!
They did an almighty slide there in the... oh, look at that.
It's a Honda Ting.
Oh, good. I can't see it as well from here.
I'd be making the face on the side of the car too if I went sliding like that.
I had to drive a Honda.
I had to drive a Honda also. I'd be making that face permanently. But we see Smith in the Ferrari. Only 2 tenths. So the top 5 very close at the moment. Only 2 tenths between them. We've got a couple of silver drivers up there. Brown, he was definitely one to watch last week. So he's definitely back up there in the top 3. We've got Giacomin, who's only a tenth and a half behind the leaders. And then Smith here, who's using all the track that he can possibly muster. He's 7 tenths up at the moment. So I think you might be right. Kind of the track may be drying out lap after lap. So we might just be getting quick lap after quick lap for the rest of the session.
I'll tell you what, I reckon I've seen some laps from Brown over the week, and I reckon he's going to be another sneaky suspect. If he can nail a lap from pole, really takes the Monza, really has a good... There we go, bang, straight on it, get in there.
Well done, Brady.
Yeah, definitely more cars on track, shifting a lot of most of the standing water off the racing line, so you can start to see it is drying up a little bit where the cars are covering the racetrack. So it's definitely helping everyone go faster, and obviously everyone's acclimatizing the conditions as Ray Smith goes up to P3 there in the Ferrari. I was going to say, like, there's just lots of time in every lap, so you can't afford to let up, and I'm hoping a lot of drivers have actually fueled up to go to the end, because you want to be doing it now at the very last minute. At this point now, you don't want to leave it to the very last minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in kind of more the wet sessions with qualifying, you just want to get your rhythm in and get as many laps in as possible. Whereas when you're in the dry, you fill up for a 2, 3, maybe a 4-lap run if you're feeling lucky.
Absolutely. The wet tire is not as peaky as the dry tire, let's say, as well, and you can afford to lean on it for a few laps, as well as how the track comes towards you as well, so you don't really have that drop off of initial grip that the dry tire does.
The top 5 is within 6 1,000ths.
That's too big. Tighten it up, boys. Tighten it up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Has actually got the lead at this point in time, so that is a very tight grid. It will all change as we see Smith here is potentially on for pole if he keeps his
he doesn't want to cut this
delta up,
but I think he needs to. He's losing a lot of time there.
Yeah. Oh, he's
look at the time.
It's...
I was going to say he was very slow there on his last lap, so it's not surprising he's kind of gained some time in this lap.
This could be the tightest run for pole I think we've seen in a long time.
I think he went wide too, coming down around the parabolica here, so it'd be interesting to see if he keeps his line
9,
tight. Yeah, he's kept it tighter than the last run. Yeah, look at it.
He's gaining time on it as well. Look at that.
Surely to pole for this lap alone.
Bang, good lap. Good lap, Smith.
Great lap.
7. That's extraordinary.
We see Barker here is also now. He's 5/10 up, and he's going to
Bang,
jump
goes to
straight to
P3.
P3. Well done.
Rashuti puts in the fastest lap with a 54.6. Yeah, that track has to be drying off like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the top 10 now is as we go to the big screen. Yeah, so top 10 are all within 3/4 of a second.
You cannot afford to not be out there right now. You need to be there putting in the laps, and you want to be the last. Absolutely to the end, as you see right here, up to 1 second, 1.1, nearly 1.2, and only 1.4 pole. So definitely going to shoot, catapult into himself way up the grid with this lap, as long as he doesn't throw all the parabolic. It's so easy to do at this track. A good line up to
it's a little bit squirmy, yeah. He's still keeping it up there, so P4, straight up to P4. So we look now at the top 15, all within a second in a wet weather.
As Ben Hignett goes bang with a 54.5. Yeah, even then, you're still now within a second, the top 16.
Hignett needed that lap because he was P20. That's how quickly you can fall down the order if you're not putting in the laps.
Exactly. So, yeah, in these conditions, this is absolutely fantastic qualifying.
Here, like, you know, P13, not where we usually expect him, but he's definitely a very fast driver, but you can see he's up 1 second now, so anyone can get pole right now. It's just going to be whether you can put the lap in.
As you said, Cam, it really is going to come down to, I think, who is the last driver to potentially come across the line. Because we just see every driver we jump on board with heading towards Sector 3 is up immensely on their own times. So we can get excited here for Tufik for being, you know, he's going to be up nearly half a second, if not more. He's had a little bit of a moment.
And the time hemorrhages, but it'll still be an improvement, and dare say it might still be pole, but there was 4 attempts easily gone in that lap.
It's going to be timing down to who can be last across the line. You pretty much have to be crossing the line with a second, 2 seconds to go. So it'll be interesting to see if some people kind of pull out some tactics of like doing a slow lap in between there to kind of get down to that time frame.
Yeah, who's done the maths? Let's see, Greco.
Got the space as well, because there's a lot of congestion out there in certain areas of the track. Gee, Herman and Brad Cook there down in P13, P14. Due for a good improvement. Even Jake Brown there down in P15 as well. Oop, as I think he's just got himself back up. Losing a little bit of time on exit is Jake Herman, but still going to be a massive improvement as well. And, you know, where will that be? Maybe, you know, it might be top 10, top 2 for now, top 3. But what's that going to be in the next 2 minutes?
And less than a 10th as well. Yeah, we've seen...
Rain coming back in 30 minutes. Not going to look out for this session, but...
Not for this session, but the race is definitely going to stay wet, it looks like. But yeah, it looks like that entry into the Parabolica is just catching everybody out at this point in time, and it seems to be the exact place where laps are being made or broken. See Brad Cook, 54 nil. He's a whole 10th up on Smith, who's just crossed the line.
Taking it up 5 tenths in just the first sector alone, so... a good standing, but he's lost 2 tenths just in the Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. Horrible corners. I don't like these at all. Can't get them to work for sure. But that's, I think, the case for most of Monza.
I think Hignett's in trouble here. He's not going to make it for another lap, so this will be make or break for him on this lap.
You are damn correct. Yes, he's 40 seconds away from his ending this lap, and he's only 28 seconds on the clock. So he's got to. It may not be a massive improvement, but he's got to make everything count on this lap.
You see Tufix, the first car to jump into the 53s. So depending on how well he takes the Parabolica, we'll shoot him up the order a little bit, as still the top 15 are within that second.
Wide he's just inside, but catches the water on the inside.
Yeah, so he's made all his time back. He's going to be up half a second. It's not going to be enough for pole, but it'll certainly shoot him up.
That's a bit of a saving grace, I think.
Up
gonna
to
be damage
third,
limitation.
but I don't know how long that's going to last because here come all the other cars that are going to be following up right behind him.
Good lap
Giacomin,
here
he's not
from
going to be
Giacomin.
able to do another lap, but he will shoot up and probably take. Yep, there it is,
P2.
second.
Think about the time that Hignett lost too. He lost 2 or 3 tenths in just the Lesmo one alone.
Taufik's going to be affected here by being this close to the Mercedes in front, who's probably on a valid lap, otherwise he'll be getting out the way, and that's just having the car there in front. Maybe a tow could help, but I think I'd rather clear air in front. I don't want any distraction, any kind of anything else to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely going to be affected by the spray there, which you can see coming off the back of that AMG. So he's going to have the slipstream, but that AMG is perfect. Vintner is perfectly within his rights to keep attacking and stay in front. So Vintner is going to be up by... Oh, he's made a ton of time in the Parabolica. This could actually... he gives it a big old slide. Tufik,
Taufik, I think he had to lift. He's lost...
He did have to leave. He lost all his time in that one. So Vintner's going to stay in 10th, it looks like, and Tufik is not going to improve on his previous time. So Rashudi, he's not going to improve either. So Hignett here has actually managed to potentially stay well and truly up the order. And there we have it. So it didn't matter in the end. Tufik managed to keep it on pole, followed by Giacomin, Cook, Hignett, Smith, Hill, Rashudi. Barrelon, Hudema and Greco make up your top 10. Are there any surprises there for you, boys?
Jake Brown, P17. I thought he'd be up the grid a bit more. And the
BMW is very impressive from Hill as well. I'm not sure. That's a bit of an outlier car out there, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of also surprised. I suppose this split doesn't have any of the real fast Macca drivers, but I'm surprised Greco couldn't have got it up a little bit higher.
Yeah, we do know that split green is the Ferrari Ting split. We got our message from race control. There is rain in less than 10 minutes. So it's currently a wet track, but there's no rain coming down at the moment. But I can guarantee that within a few laps of this one,
you're starting on wets. You're starting
on wets and you're staying on wets because it's only going to get heavier as time goes on. So this could be just about, we've sent the weather drone up. Have a look. It's not too bad at the moment, but it's definitely a wet track and it's definitely going to stay wet.
70-minute race with a 60-minute pit window. So 5 minutes into the race, the pit window will open. 2 mandatory tire stops for this race. So lots of strategy to think of. But yes, given it's a wet track starting and a wet track probably in the very immediate future, wets will be the way to go. And how you preserve them will be very interesting to see how these drivers cope, because it's wet. It's a wet track, but it doesn't look that wet.
Oh no, get it away.
Well, we say it's a wet track, but I tell you what, it
does look.
It made qualifying very spicy, and everyone seemed to have dialed in their wet setups because that top 15 were doing very. As we just keep following on, there's the big puddle. That'll be one to watch out for, as the cars do tend to hydroplane a little bit over some of these puddles. As we do a reverse track fly through.
This is Parabolica, and I will not have any contention on that. Sorry, Michele Alberto.
All right, boys. Yes, pick your race winner right now.
Race winner right now. Do I back Rashudi again for a Monza win?
The spectators, we're going to have a great race.
Yeah, the spectators are definitely going to win this one.
Are we going to have spectacle?
Are we going to have a lap 1 T1 car park?
Yes,
of course.
Of course.
Manual control over one of the drivers, and we're just going to fire him right full.
Who do we back tonight? I think Hignett's definitely a shout. He was definitely a shout last week, and he managed to put the miles in and was doing really, really well. Giacomin, I don't Was G coming in
Rain's
last
heavier
week?
and 30. Rain heavier and 30 as well.
Even
Sorry,
heavier. There we go. No. All good. And Tufik seems to have been the surprise pole for, well, not necessarily surprise pole, but he's definitely had the pace in him to even improve on that pole time even further. So he's definitely got the pace tonight.
I think
Pick
the Ferrari
one,
cars.
Fluky. You can't pick the whole grid, mate.
I said about 3 names. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna back Taufik, and I think he wasn't here last week, which we didn't really see what his wet pace was. I think a lot of the Indonesian drivers were away in many of the splits, I think, for an event. So I will back Taufik. I think the Ferrari is just a better car overall in the race conditions and adaptable conditions over the Porsche, but I would be very glad to be wrong. Shout out to Julian Grader, who's switched to the Porsche, the top AM in P14. It's a very commendable effort. And Barrelon in the top Pro-Am in P8 as well.
Go on, Connor. Who's your pick?
All right, considering we have Cameron's pick 1, you've picked 3, I'll pick 2. I reckon either Rashuti with a sneaky strat, or I reckon Hignett will come through in race conditions.
Yeah, no.
I guess sneaky strat.
Rashuti is a Monza winner here. He had the 1000 IQ strat last year, the end of last year in season 14.
No pit window.
Perfected his pit time. So he's definitely always a shout. Yoda's got Yoda down here in camera 2. He's a little bit further down in 12th at the moment, starting in 12th. So he'll have a little bit of work to do in order to make it up the field. But I'm really looking forward to tonight's racing. I think there's a lot of strong contenders in there tonight that is really going to spice up this race.
Track has gone damp. So
yeah, it won't be for very long.
Won't be for very long, but it'll make these first few laps interesting. And I think we're, safety car bets. How long?
Yes.
That's not a unit of measurement.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. That's all we need to know. Yes. 12 meters, perhaps?
Oh. 12 meters? Or will it be a fucking car park?
Well,
As we see, the drivers are now... yes, everything is possible, especially in a wet Monza race. Monza has anything possible in the day, in the dry, sorry, but bring in the wet. You see the drivers are now. Yeah, there it is. The sprinkles have started. So anybody who thought about a dry tire, please pack up and go home. And we come around Parabolica for the start of this race as the drivers go side by side, 2 by 2. You've got Tufik, Giacomin, Cook, Hignett, Smith, Hill, Rashuti, Barrelon, Hudema, and Greco as your top 10. We are about to go green here at a wet Monza. Take 2, split green. And we are racing as we see Hignett right up the back of Giacomin. Those two have never met each other on track before, ever. So we'll see what happens here. Cook getting the slipstream off Tufik. Tufik seems to have not got the best start possible. We go into the break zone for the first time. Rashuti's already off into the grass, but he manages to keep it together. We are through turn 1. We are through turn 2, and there is only a slight bit of contact between the leaders. Giacomin has taken the lead from Tufik. Hignett has taken a spot from Cook. And we have yellow all through the first chicane from the back of the field. We do not know what's going on there, but we're going to see what happens as Tufik tries to make a potential move on Giacomin. We're going to go through the second chicane. This is normally where it all kicks off if the first chicane's clean. As we go down the grid, everybody is managing to stay actually very, very well behaved at the moment. We've got a couple of the back runners there. And we see that Hignett is looking very speedy on the back of Tufik, and Giacomin potentially already starting to gap the rest of the field.
I feel like Giacomin's the kind of driver that once you let him free, he kind of dictates the pace of his own race and kind of he becomes like a bit of a dog off a lead kind of thing and just kind of extends and extends. Whereas if you keep him, like if you defend well against him, it kind of like locks him out of his own like strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, there's already nearly a half a second gap forming between Giacomin and Tufig. Tufig not looking super comfortable in the opening lap of this race. He's already kind of going a bit narrow on the entry of the Parabolica. As we see, Raschuti managed, I don't know how he pulled it up after going on the grass at the start there, but he's managed to just drop down, position down into 10th. Greco making a couple of spots there. But yeah, Hignett right on the back of Tufig. Giacomin already starting to extend this lead, so Connor 100% right there. I think you let Giacomin in front and he might potentially just run away with it.
It also depends.
Someone's
What's
off.
happened there? Someone's off. That is the number 30 car of Hudema.
566. It's Haggis. It's Ray Smith. Has unfortunately got around.
there?
There have been assistance.
The orange Ferrari is around, and I think that's 2 weeks in a row that Smith has gone off in the second lap.
Yeah, no luck of the green for unfortunately for Haggis. Absolutely. We did see on the first lap, I believe Barker did go around at the first chicane as well, I think with some assistance, but we'll have to leave that one to the stewards. Looks like 566 has got going again, and you can see it's tailing up the rest of the field. So not out of it, still close to the field as well. You know, that's very much still in a recovery position, especially in these changeable conditions. So it'll be interesting to see how Taufik kind of normalizes his pace now. Maybe he wasn't really kind of like, some drivers go up to speed, they kind of go 0 to 100% on terms of pace a lot quicker than some others, and some others take a bit of a few laps to maybe normalize. But we can see Taufik is not letting Giacomin get away. So despite, you know, kind of building up a decent gap on the first lap, I think that pace has kind of normalized a little bit. But obviously now Giacomin's going to be punching a hole for most of the field. And the train behind him. There is a gap there, but yeah, definitely still not insurmountable.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
I think particularly with Tufig, as long as he stays within that slipstreaming margin and doesn't let Giacomin get too far ahead of him as Hignett goes across the line for the fastest lap of a 153.2. So Hignett's definitely right on the back of Tufig, and we'll be looking for any opportunity to get past as he's very close to the braking zone of the first chicane. But as you said, Giacomin hasn't quite run away with it. I think he's got a very potentially straight line speed setup as he seems to really gain on Tufig through the first sector, but then coming into sector 2 and then through Ascari, it seems like Tufig just manages to keep up just a little bit. So potentially different philosophies and setups there, resulting
more
in
yellow
different.
in the first chicane. Oh,
there is 1, 2, 3.
I think Miller was involved in that as well. Oh dear, oh dear. More freebies though for the Ray Smith car. I have to forget he's not called Haggis on this team, but yes.
We call him Haggis from now on.
We call him Haggis, yes. He's known as Haggis in the OES server. But looks like some rear damage on that 566 car, so kind of leading to maybe also being an assisted excursion on the previous lap. But I'm sure the penalties will, if there is penalties are due, then they'll be coming in thick and fast. As Richudi has gone from looking at the back of Hudemar to looking behind him in the form of Ben Wittner. That Lamborghini doesn't look very strong and like famously kind of not very good down the straights, no matter what circuit you take it to. But Shudi's still a shrewd operator and still can pull a very good operator. It looks like Brown is, yes, eyeing up Weberburn, and he's got the inside line, got the nose in there. He's definitely not going to back out, surely. Yep, and he takes up the inside. Weberburn gives him space, doesn't turn down, and might actually gear himself up for a bit of a return serve run down the straight. A little bit, yep, there, they're all good. He's going to tuck in for the slipstream.
Kind of, if you look at also like the leaderboards, Afik, Hignett and Giacomin have always, Weatherburn and Brown are going to go side by side.
Whoa,
down into turn one, bit of a tap.
Whoa! Magnets and attraction. Oh dear, oh dear.
Let's see, yeah, kind of like pulls it back onto the track. Yeah, that's 2 by 2 this early into the race. Yeah, it's probably Probably
you're
not.
no fun.
Okay, sorry, 4 wide into every corner. No, but look at the top of the leaderboard. The top 3 are pulling, kind of establishing a bit of a gap to Cook. Whether he's kind of just playing the long game and just cruising along and letting them kind of all fight and battle, when he sees where it all ends up at the end, as we watch a replay of.
And there's our 4 wide.
9
As
wide.
Rashidi realised that he ran out of track and had to come
Oh.
across, it's a big hit.
It was a touch
There
with
is-
Udamar.
There is a clean-up in the pants of Isle Lamborghini, I think.
And
Someone makes...
Oh, as Yoda was the one who sent Barker around, and I think 29 did that on his own. But unfortunate there for the number 13. He won't be too happy about that one.
Yeah, not great for Barker, but he is there. That he has recovered himself to P18 with a few more misdemeanors going on throughout the field, and I see a few people taking their first stops already, having had their own incidents as well. So you look to a replay. This is Haggis following Graham Hill in the BMW. Gets it stopped, but there's a Ferrari behind him. Is coming and he hits him. Oh dear, that's Hudamar again.
Mischecking
Yeah.
braking.
Oh dear, Oop, there's 476. Everyone's kind of.
That's the
Makes
thing
us
that hurts
nervous.
about getting punted like that, though, isn't it? That you have to watch everyone go by.
The longest 20 seconds of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, looks like the stewards might have a couple of things to look at there. Unfortunately, the number 30 Ferrari has had a very spicy start to his 70-minute race.
Yeah, I believe he had a touch with that. What fired Rashuti off into on the start-finish straight. So yes.
Oh, what's happened here? Is this Barker again? This looks like it's Barker again.
Oh no.
Oh,
Nope, we're wrong.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so much
And
going on.
the
Where do we
green-
begin? There's 2
Oh,
separate
wow.
incidents in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like the blue McLaren got it wrong, and there's a few cars going quite slowly. But yeah, it looks like the blue car kind of snookered a couple of cars, and then the green
Went
Ferrari
round
got
himself,
sent as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
So Barker, I think, just about going down the aggressive line there. I think potentially baited that other, I think it was a McLaren into. Oh, as we see, Rashuti managing to keep it all on the track. He's trying to get past Hudamar as much as he can, but Hudamar manages to block him.
That's so annoying when a driver makes a mistake, but they're right on the line. Like, you can't really get around them. And it's just hemorrhaging time. And now Vinton is right back behind him as well. It looks like, I don't know if Rashuti, even with the I think there's some damage to the front of Hudamar's car from the earlier incidents, but still can't get a good run. You see the gap, the 2 car lengths that Hudamar can pull just on the last corner alone over Rashuti is not going to be doing Rashuti any favors at all.
Rashuti's really got to get him into a braking zone somehow, or out of corner exit, because as we know, the Lambo just kind of runs out of puff on those big long straights. Oh, here we go. Into turn 1. A little bit of a tap, but they keep it clean for the form. Oh.
That could have been bad. It kept the nose in when it kind of wasn't really. And with Fercolini, between Robinson and Fercolini. So see, Giacomo has gapped Taufik. You know, maybe the pace isn't really there for Taufik in 2.7 seconds now. So yes, Giacomo, like you said before, Connor, was just like, he's a driver. You know, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and he's definitely done that so far.
Yeah, the afterburners are definitely on that 313 Ferrari at the moment. He is stretching his legs.
Yeah, after racing against him for quite some time, he's kind of the driver who seems to lose a bit of confidence when he's trailing and behind people. But then you let him get away, and it's kind of like an endless game of just you just can't get him, because he just then streaks away.
We're back on board, looking from the rear of Hudamar, with Rashuti all over the back. Vintner not that far behind, so there is a train that's starting to form here, and I think Hudamar might be the cork in the bottle, as we see that's potentially going to bring Brad Brown and Weatherburn's a little bit further behind, but this train that started off with two drivers who have been tiffing since the very start might be inviting a few more contenders into this battle for P8.
It's one just boxed then as well. Number 27. That's
I
Ben
think
Bittner.
Vinton jumped in. So he's had enough of that.
There is time being lost overall, I think, behind this sort of like mini train by Hutmar. I don't think it's a huge amount of time for some drivers like Ben Vintner, but I think for Richardi, he might have to consider this undercut as well. As rain is still going to be here for the next 30 minutes, so I think you're good to take a set of wets for your next stop, that's for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. We see rain lessening in 30 minutes, so do we think this race could potentially finish in the dry?
Could be, but it's got the two sets of dots on it, so that means it's still medium, so it's only slightly less intensity medium rain, so it's a long way from going to stopping, I will say, but you know, could. It's also not very warm out there as well. It's only 20 ambient with 25-degree track, so if the rain does stop, would it actually dry out sufficiently for dries? That's another thing to consider. As Richardi's got a good run here, Lesma too, but he's just not really there lining up. But he is
absolutely sent it, and he's sent around the outside, and
good move.
He's made it stick.
Excellent move from Richardi. That was the kind of, like you were saying, kind of like the sort of send move, the deep on the brake move, because he just couldn't live with that Ferrari on the straights, especially the exits it could get.
You see Hutmar, 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 2. So
I think that was for Haggis.
Yeah, that's what we saw a little bit earlier on in that replay, as we see Yoda has managed to make the move stick on Rad through the Parabolica. So that is a fantastic move. So all the moves being made out here. Oh, no. Costa, mate, you cannot park there, buddy. What has gone on there?
Some front damage. Oh, curb is it going to be, or is it going to be McLaren things?
Just McLaren things.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd be backing up too, buddy.
Oh, that was close call for a pile up.
Yeah, I think that must have been Barker coming around there at that time. It would have had the scare of his life as that McLaren shot from the inside to the outside. The car is gone. Just hold the brakes. You can't save it, please. And just avoid a secondary incident. I think we were quite lucky to not see another car involved there.
So we see Beaton is now in the pits as well. So that brings up our total number of drivers who have completed a mandatory pit stop to 5. Is that the right call? I mean, we will find out. There, we can see if the undercut, if you were stuck in traffic, to play a decent effect, as Weatherburn's received a 10-second penalty for that little collision we saw at the start as well. And looking here at Hignett, who's looking very racy behind Tufik, but is probably starting to struggle just a little bit. I don't know if we can get on board with Hignett, but I'm sure the amount of spray that's coming off the back of Tufik's car is not fun to drive through.
He's kind of at a distance too, where like he's not all over the back of Tufik, where like it warrants kind of trying to undercut him, but he's not really far off enough that he can just keep trailing him in a sense. So it'd be interesting to see over the next couple of laps if he can apply the pressure to kind of either make Tufik do something or to kind of figure out a plan for himself.
Is that the fastest wiper setting in a Ferrari? Sorry to derail the conversation to something much less technical. But it seems quite, I'd have that thing a little bit faster personally, given the amount of spray it has to ship. But, each their own.
Maybe he likes living life on the edge, like not being able to see.
Turn the wiper off then. Oh yes, here's the.
No.
The
Not this cam.
Cam plebs out there.
They are plebs.
As you see that Higgett is very close on Tufik, so he is going to think about making a move here. That was very optimistic, but I think Tufik was very aware that Higgett was gaining on him. But this is that sort of that space where the spray from the car in front that is probably going to be a warning there for Tufik for going a little bit wide. That spray does get distracting. It does cause a bit of a vision issue there. So it'll be interesting to see what Hignett does think about doing in terms of strategy, or whether he thinks he can get a move done.
Yeah, because look again, Tafik just seems to kind of get away from him in the final sector. So you're kind of like, well, do you pit for full fresh air to get out of the spray? Because he's just not all over him enough to warrant really a heavy undercut.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rain is going to go to light rain in half an hour, so it is going to be lessening, like you said before, Luke. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that actually stops or not, or whether it will just be less intensity, which, I think in light rain, given how many cars we've got on track as well, could turn the track into a situation like we had in qualifying, where it's wet but not dry enough for dries. And I think cars will have to start maybe conserving their tires a little bit, whereas in qualifying they could just keep pushing them to the heart's content.
So we watch Yoda in pit lane. He had a penalty to serve. Yeah. So he's going to drop down the order a bit, but they're kind of all really, if you were going to pit, you kind of want to pit now. Look at half the track's free pretty much. Only got a couple of cars on it.
So we'll see that Brown will come past Weatherburn at this point in time. So that penalty coming into full effect there. But yeah, as Yoda comes out of the pits now, he's got the 911 of White slowly gaining on him. It's going to be a bit of a defensive move into this one here, but we could see... Oh, no, I think Yoda's definitely got... We could see that Yoda, who was hoping to come out in some fresh air, might have a hot Aston Martin right on his Trailblazer. So interesting to see who has the pace in this one.
Someone want to say the team... Oh, it's gone now. I was going to say, someone want to quote that team name from the A. White's car? Come on.
What are you talking about? Racing.
It's not what I was expecting. What are you talking about? You not watched the Big Les show?
The what show?
All right, that's it.
Do
your homework.
Okay,
I have not watched it either.
Oh my god.
Smith makes a
I'm
great
not even Australian
overtake.
and I know what it is.
Well, I mean,
It's
anyway,
a
do you see that tree over there bringing up random things that are non to the topic? That tree looks very
Australian
wet.
culture. It is a MS Paint YouTube cartoon series made by someone on the school laptops in 2009.
Hignett is now 3/10 behind Tufik, and we see that the gap is not really increasing or decreasing at all. So there is a bit of an elastic band between these two. So I dare say there has been a bit of a setup. So yeah, Hignett gets right up through in the corners, but Tufik seems to be able to just get a bit of a better exit and gap Hignett out on the straights. So Rain will be departing Italy in 30. There we go. Confirmation from race control that Rain will stop.
Is it getting evicted?
Yeah, is it Virgin or Jetstar? Business or economy? What class?
Definitely economy.
It's government paid, so it's economy. Actually, no, you just hang on to the landings. Don't mention it.
We start getting over some blue flag. Yeah, I wonder if Hignett's gone from more of a kind of a downforce setup, and Tafik's kind of wants more of the straight line speed, because they're kind of at two different points really. in terms of setup. Cook, Greco, and Barrelon are all in the pits, so it'd be interesting to see where they come into the mix once coming out of it all.
And Giacomin there has just been slowly inching away from these two and is now 5 seconds in front of second. So it's all for his to lose at the moment. But yeah, the field is starting to really spread out quite a bit. And as you said, we've got a lot of people coming into the pits at the moment. So putting on some fresh, wet rubber to potentially deal with some of the heavier rain that's coming. It'll be interesting to see how much as we see the NSX fly off, and there's a McLaren on the side of the road. There is cars parked everywhere. Miller gets a 10-second penalty for causing a collision, so naughty. And yeah, we have the track drying potentially. The track drying, potentially drying out from in the next 30 minutes. So the last 17 minutes or so will be a drying track. Whether the track actually fully dries out in that period of time,
what were you laughing
wait
at
to
then,
see.
Luke? Was it something in chat?
No, did you see the little? That's Giacomin into the pits.
Nice.
And Brown gets a 5-second penalty for causing a collision.
Oh,
the steward's on it at the moment.
5-second penalty. I haven't seen one of those for a while.
And Rudy is in as well. Cook is out from his pit stop in nice, clean air. Barrelin was up there for a while, actually. Barrelin's, he's done one stop, and he's only in 16th at the moment, so that leaves him to be in a pretty good position. He's right behind Greco, and we know the McLaren is quite strong here in a straight line, and it looks like they are right up heading into the back of Vintner. So we're going to have a Vintner, Greco, Barrelin, Brown train at the moment, all battling for...
Don't say Brown train.
You could have literally put Brown before any other name and it would have been fine.
And where's the fun in that?
Don't act like you did that intentionally. You're not that guy.
I'm not that guy. Okay, fair enough. According to Cam, I'm not that guy. Does anyone in chat think I am that guy?
Yes, I saw that. Someone knows what it was.
That's what I was laughing at before. It popped up earlier.
Oh, I actually missed that. Oh my god, terrible.
I still don't know.
Hudemer is in the pits. He'll be serving his 15-second penalty. Rashudi is... Actually, he's been jumped from Vintner, who took that early stop. So that battle for him has caused his position to drop. He has lost out to the undercut. So we'll see. Maybe potentially Rashudi apparently might have repaired the damage that he copped earlier throughout his first stint. So whether that was a little bit of a time loss for him. But Vintner looking pretty pacey now that he's got a bit of fresh air in front of him.
I was going to say, Rashudi probably did have some damage to repair from as other airlines are available. But Rashudi probably did have some damage to repair from that start line incident. But yes, he'll be frustrated to now find himself behind another car, which is probably quicker on pace.
Keep an eye on
first lap behind Hudemar.
Keep an eye on too. Hignet's in pit lane, so keep an eye on where Hignet falls out between Giacomin and Cook, or if Cook's going to get him.
Yep, so seeing Giacomin coming across the start-finish line now, so he is moving. I think Giacomin's definitely going to take him, but
And it's gone.
There we go. So Giacomin was 5 seconds in front of Tufik prior to that pit stop, so it will be interesting to see where or how far Hignet is behind him.
Maybe Talbot kind of overfueled a bit for expecting the rain to go longer. Maybe it kind of explains some of his pace at the start, but I don't know.
Yeah, look, it definitely comes into play. But we see Higgins definitely cleared Cook. Cook is many seconds. And that's 29. 29 just went into the fence and disappeared, it looks like.
He has jumped Cook by quite a bit, hasn't he? As we have a little gaggle going back here. And a death.
And Greco has been killed.
Greco is not having a race he will want to remember, I don't think, as they come into the corner. Smith's on the outside. Greco's on the inside. He's just overslowed a bit and just bam, the Ferrari tags him on the back.
Bang bang.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little whack from the stewards coming there. Oh, Barker has redressed to Greco.
No, it was Barrelon. Barrelon has redressed to Greco, which is a very gentlemanly thing to do, but unfortunately he will still cop punishment for the crime. You see Cook is taking on Plummer at the moment. Plummer yet to complete a mandatory pit stop at this point in time, so it's not quite
in the pits.
His race. We've got Tufik in the...
coming out of the pits now.
He's coming out of the pits now, so...
Giacomo's
gone by. You see Giacomo...
Hignett hasn't got him, I don't think.
No, he hasn't, and he's going to end up right behind him, so... Giacomo not with the lead that he initially had. He's only a couple of seconds up the road now, so him and Tufik's managed to nail that because Hignett is probably about half a second or so behind him. So,
well, that's deep. That's not making that corner.
Very deep. That is not the racing line.
It's definitely trying to push too early on tyres that aren't up there yet.
I was going to say, the other guys will have be much more off the pressure than Taufik right now.
But it's kind of like these guys in the horns again. I'm guessing the outlaps that Hignett did kind of just weren't quick enough to upset that gap, as we have Julian Gray in the strange-looking NSX in P1.
Service.
Look, stop the race. Just stop the race right now.
Right. But definitely in a better stead than he was driving the Honda lately. But good improvement from Gray, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good seeing a kind of a driver like that pick something else that they like and enjoy and kind of go full on into it.
I was a bit worried. I think my naysaying earlier is I think having seen Ricciuti being behind the Ferrari for a while, those Ferraris just they get very good consistent exits, especially through some of the long sweeping corners like Parabolic, and I don't think any car can really match them, especially combined with their sort of good top end speed. So they look like a very hard car to pass, I will say, unless a mistake is obviously mistakes happen, and then that kind of determines a lot of things. But the top three being all Ferraris, I'm hoping they can be creative when it comes to an overtake, because it's going to take it with matching machinery.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look at the leaderboard at the moment, looks like only a couple of drivers, including the one on screen at the moment, who haven't completed a mandatory pit stop yet. It looks like the rest of the field has. So we've got Gray and Smith yet to complete a stop. And then we look down the field, and Giacomo only 3 seconds in front as Barrelon gets that 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 14. So that was the one that we caught on stream just a little bit earlier. As I said, gentleman move to let Greco go back past after causing an incident. But unfortunately, doesn't stop the severity of the penalty that the stewards will dish out. You see Smith goes on a bit of a wide line through Lesmos 2. And we're on board with Cook now, who's right up the back of Hill. So Hill making a spot there. Actually, that was one of the dark horses that we haven't picked up on up until this point.
Radar.
Yeah, as Hill has made a spot on Cook through the pit stops and is giving Brad run for his money.
And kind of, these guys have kind of fallen out of the... Whoa, that is very wide. But they've kind of fallen off the back of even more from the top 3 Ferraris. So whether that's just the drivers behind the wheel or like it's just the Ferrari in the wet conditions right now is just taking the liking a lot better.
Yeah, I dare say that Ferrari, once it's honed in, is an exceptional race car. It's just consistent and... yeah, so Vintner definitely, as you were just pointing out, has gapped Rashuti by a couple of seconds now. Cook within that second margin behind Hill, and Hill looking to be about, I think it was about 7 seconds or so off, 8 seconds now off the back of Hignett. So those top 3 Ferraris are definitely leaving the rest of the pack for dead. But I think Brad's going to have his hands full with the BMW here of Hill, because I think Hill has managed to find some pace out of that car.
It's good to see that we've got top 3 Ferraris, but then P5 to P8 currently. Obviously, we'll move up a slot once Julian Gray pits, but 4 different manufacturers with 4 different ways of making a lap time. Yeah, gonna be very interesting. You think, given the way we've seen Cook at some the previous races, and Porsche, where logically it should be going strong, but I think they're just a little bit outmatched. I think by some of the other machinery.
What? Get it out of here! Look at it. Stare into my soul.
I wonder though. Sorry, go on. Got it?
I think it's also the Porsche is generally strong in the wet, and especially Brad being probably one of the best Porsche drivers we've got in the region, and he's stuck loyal with the car. I just think the nature of the track, with all the big long straights, it just doesn't have the top end to kind of keep up.
Yeah, it looks like Hill's definitely put the gap in there, but I do wonder if maybe something has happened in the pits, because I don't remember Vinton and Rashuti being even remotely close to Brad in the timings. So I do wonder if Cook's potentially missed his pit box, or something's happened there, because that space between Hill and Vintner has remained relatively steady, but Cook was a little bit further down the line, so I do wonder if something's happened there.
Well, yeah, he's probably 1.5, 2.5 seconds off the back of Hignett there. Now he's dropped to 9.2. So, yeah, I reckon either he's got moved, damage, something. Didn't hit the mark,
Oh, big snap from Brown.
I won. Taylor and Cook had an off before his pit stop, which probably explains the overall time loss, which does make sense. I'm going to say, I think all the Porsches have definitely had better quality pace than race pace in the wet from what we're seeing.
Now, here's a genuine question for you boys and for chat out there. Do you reckon Jake Brown has told his mum that he's racing in the wet tonight?
Yes. Based on his team name, I absolutely believe that he has 110% told his mum.
Sure.
I think that refers to everything that goes on in his life. I think he's telling mum.
He has told mum, signed, sealed, delivered. This is what he's going to do. Is he's getting all over the back of race weekend. Oh, look at the twitch coming out of the parabolica there.
It's kind of like, it's the problem with parabolica. You touch that inside curve, it's kind of like a gutter, so you hook in and then you kind of ping off it as you try and get out of it, and then it's just upsetting the whole run. Parabolica, it's such an intimidating call, especially in qualifying, to get right, because it's so easy to underdrive or yet overdrive at the same time, and it just can make or break the entire lap.
So how many brown flag moments do you reckon Brown's had in the last lap?
The answer is yes, lots.
Every lap is a Brown lap in a Porsche, isn't it?
Especially if you got Jake Brown driving it.
Let's see Taufik definitely not been able to respond to Giacomo. Once again, this stint, by the looks of things, is a 4.7 second gap between them as Hignett is starting to claw all over the back of Hignett, but we'll see what can he do with matching machinery, and it looks like it's very hard to follow a car getting close through Parabolica. Like, no matter what car it is, it's really hard to keep right under the gearbox, let's say.
Yeah, that elastic band hasn't broken yet. Has anyone told Julian that this is a 2-stop race? As we get towards we've passed the halfway mark in the last couple of laps. Ray and
minutes.
Smith still haven't put in their mandatory stop yet.
The alt extra long strat of going all the way until there's 3 minutes left in the pit window, and then you do your stops 2 laps in a row.
Pro strat, if you've got the fuel to make it that far.
Pro strat.
I was going to say, he's probably been the most fuel laden out of all the cars, having gone to 38 minutes.
I wonder if he has loaded heavy with that one.
Now, I'm wondering here, you have Jack Homan pulling away, slowly pulling the gap out. He's kind of in, his own little world here, kind of controlling, as the de facto race leader. But I'm wondering if Taufik is kind of driving in his mirrors a bit, because, obviously having Hignett there, being a worry, especially in the wet. Do you think he's focusing on just keeping Hignett behind, or do you feel like he just doesn't have the pace, and so then he's driving in his mirrors the entire time?
I have to probably say that, yeah, he's probably driving in his mirrors a bit. We see he's taking a lot of defensive lines, going into most of, I feel like, at times around through Ascari, in particular. Where it seems like Hignett does seem to have a bit of pace through the second sector. So I think Taufik's probably hoping that Giacomo is affected by external factors and potentially brings the race back to him. But I think at this stage, I think he's just focusing on making sure Hignett doesn't get in front, because he knows, I dare say for a fact, that once Hignett's in front and in some fresh air, that he might struggle to keep up.
Be a chance for Ricciardi. He's definitely a lot closer than he has been the last few laps. We lose our bit to the Mercs acceleration through the last corner. We're probably flying away, to be honest. Actually. Definitely probably going to be too far away unless Ben Vintner's really meek on the brakes. But I don't think Ben's that kind of operator.
You see, Ricciardi shows the nose.
So you boys are going to get in on the poll on this. Violet Crumble or Crunchy?
I voted. I voted for Crunchy.
Excellent.
I also voted for Crunchy. I enjoy a Violet Crumble, but I enjoy Crunchy more.
We are a happy comms box.
We are a happy comms box. Look at us in harmony.
It's not my favourite chocolate bar. What will say?
No,
that's okay. That's okay.
It's all right. It's just out of the choice given.
Right, bye.
Well, chat, that's us done for tonight. We will see you next week. As we see, Ricciardi has definitely made the gap back up on Vintner. So I also thought, as he goes very wide, very sideways. We love to see it. Using all the track, maximum attack. We'll see how Ricciardi goes, taking on Vintner. I think Vintner's definitely got both eyes on the rear view at this point in time. They are. Oh, look at the curb hopping there from Ricciardi. I do believe these guys are Enduro teammates, so I do wonder if they're in a team speak together, letting each other know that Ricciardi's under maximum attack.
Andrea's finally fitted. He boxes now. fall down through the order, but it's definitely been a good first stint for him. And surprisingly, just didn't actually catch him. So kudos to where he was on track before everyone boxed in the first place, and the pace he's been showing. But yeah, this is why I pick cars with bigger engines. I generally drive
Just look at it get away. Just
so I don't get stuck behind people like this.
Yeah, there's just not much he can do, especially with the layout of the track. It's like the move we seen him earlier is kind of like, it feels like desperation, but it's kind of like what he's forced into with the lack of top end that the Lambo has.
The Lambo is just, it's got to be one of the worst performing cars, like in the straight. So no matter where I've seen it, like even at like Imola is a fairly decently long straight, but it's not that long in the grand scheme. I think in comparison to some others, definitely not here, I don't think. But yeah, every Lambo I've seen, like, just always loses out on the straights by some substantial margin.
It's always the top end too. Like, it's like you see it when it shifts from 5th to 6th or 4th to 5th. It just runs out of puff.
I think the car is just like, there's a lot of aero on that car, but that inherently makes it very draggy as well, which I think is the reason for its top end. And I'm no aerodynamicist, but you can tell, like, in comparison to the Ferrari, I think there's a lot more, let's say, sharper edges on the Lamborghini. There's a lot more sort of forced channeling, a lot more sort of like heavier aero, whereas I think with the Ferrari, it kind of works a bit more coherently and a little bit less draggy from start to finish, from the front splitter to the rear diffuser.
Yeah, and you can see that, like, Rashudi's absolutely attacking the course way more aggressively than Vintner is, but you just see, even though he gets up real close coming out of Ascari, it's just that Merc just walks away from him in the straight. And even in the slipstream, he just can't seem to gain. So as he comes out down the main straight, you can see he's got a bit of slipstream, but as soon as he pulls the nose out, it's like hitting a brick wall of air, and it just slows right up. So unfortunately for Rashudi here, unless he decides to go for potentially a bit of an undercut, I don't see much happening in this space right now.
I mean, like, that's when you make the kind of, you look at the weather, it's going to be not raining for 10 minutes and then it's going to rain again. So it's obviously not going to dry. It's just going to get, like, damp or like just have standing water in patches. Do you come in and pit? Whoa.
Sorry, yeah, Weberburn was very, like, sort of, like,
very
skatey
brave
on the entrance, on the braking zone, so jockeying, like, left, right, left of his. He was kind of, another Ferrari's got quite heavy rear bias, if I recall, with the braking, but that looked sketchy. It was like a cross-channel ferry in a way. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, to touch on the weather, it's like, I think you can get so suckered into what's the rain gonna be in X amount of time, and sometimes you just have to race to whatever is on, whatever is out there in front of you right now. And it is a, oh my goodness, it's getting really close to Robinson on the back on the left one too. Definitely can see where one driver isn't confident in Lesmo too. But yes, it's oh yes, Weber did have an earlier penalty, so this is the reason why he's unfortunately this far down. But yes, I think you just gotta drive to the current conditions, I think, a little bit. And if anyone takes dries, well done. You've ruined your race.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to doing the run.
Well done, your strategist team has not done their job.
Ferrari has done Ferrari team things.
I was going to say, it's like, yes, your TAFE strategy team has done a great job.
Now we're at Monza, so we've just borrowed the Ferrari Formula 1 team. As we jump on board with Giacomin, who has a 7-second lead over Tufik, who has actually increased his lead to Hignett by almost 2 seconds there. So Hignett not doing as well in keeping up with Tufik. in this stint. There's still 23 minutes left of this race, so we have.
I think Retreat's got ahead
time.
of Ben Binder. I saw the Lambo ahead. Yes, it
Oh,
is.
there we go. Look at that. Move made through the Lesbos.
Now he just has to defend like a lion down the streets.
This is the
AMG
giant
V-Power.
AMG V8 coming right behind you.
Run away through. Car doesn't. Looks. Yeah. Kudos to Retreaty for being brand loyal. Takes a lot of commitment when you.
Jay Coman's in the pits. Jay Coman is completing his last mandatory pit stop.
So we see what happened with Shooty. Looks left, look right. Brakes late. Is he just coming through? That was too intentional.
It's definitely spooked Vintner right out of committing to the corner. He's just left the inside open as Shooty got the better exit. Look at that.
Yeah. Kind of forced Ben to take a offset line, which then compromised his exit, and then he came through. It's a bit of an interesting overtake. It is done, but I think Ben, if they weren't say teammates, as someone has to go backwards and miss their box. I think that is Foxtrot and the number 6. But yes, if they weren't teammates, side by side, the leader, I wouldn't want to mess with this.
If I was Foxtrot, I'd be letting him through.
Frankly, they have sorted it out at least, and Jake Coman is ahead. Got a little bit of traffic to deal with. So here comes Weberburn and Robinson. Interesting, out of all that, Gray stayed out for that really long amount of time, but has actually dropped, I think, back from where he was initially. He's actually behind now Robinson for that fight for AM class. So maybe it wasn't the most strategic choice to go this long on the first set of tires, but to be honest, in a wet race, if you keep it on track and keep it out of the walls, keep it straight, then that's a win in itself, I think.
Yeah, that's the aim. It's the aim of the game, even in the dry, but in the wet more so. It's just about staying instant free. As Weatherburn is not getting the memo that oh no, it's for position. Don't worry about it.
It is for position. It's not blue flag. So
entitled to that. Let's go.
He is allowed to defend, and I think Jay Coman here might actually be in a little bit of trouble if Yoda doesn't make it easy for him. And Tufig could potentially make up the pace. He did start dropping Hignett, and Hignett was bleeding time to Tufik. So Tufik has found some pace in the second stint. And Gia Coman here fighting for position against Yoda, who's definitely a pacey boy who will not be making it easy for him at all. So this is actually spicing things up, because there was only, 7 seconds or so between the top two. So this could spicing things up just a little bit.
It depends on Yoda's strategy really, but
Jay Coman ahead of him. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And
no love lost in
That's all right. We're tripping over words here in the comms box. It's okay. Everyone is this. You watch Yoda's having a look on his own battle with Robertson. Yeah, look. If Tafiq... but Tafiq's still out. He hasn't pit yet. So it'll be interesting to see when Tafiq pits.
Ooh. Foxtrot, stop, go 30. So naughty boy in the pits there. Looks like he has been caught for speeding. Because that is I believe, our first penalty for speeding in pit lanes. So
I think
we think there might be more to come
as well. So especially bad pit stop all around. The leaders come around again, and looks like they're staying out. Once again, I wouldn't blame him if they have anyone communicating. Oh, as Jerry coming, just sends it down the inside of Werburn, will run out of Lesmo 1 into 2, and gets it done decisive as he needed to be, because same machinery, and that's definitely gonna assist him and mitigate the time loss.
Yeah, that was a very bold move from Luca there, and it's managed to pay off this time. We'll see how Robinson manages to hold up against him, as he definitely gets a run on him through Ascari, but Robinson's going to go defensive. He's going to make Giacomin work for it around the long way around through Parabolica, so Yoda's going to sit back and see what happens here. He might be able to, as Giacomin goes a little bit wide and then back onto the inside of Parabolica. Yoda was looking to see if he could slip up through the inside there, but it's not going to pay off this time. But we'll see who gets the run down the main straight, down into the first chicane.
Pushing 278 equal machinery. Is he going to send it from here? I was going to say that's a very long way to send it.
Very skatey.
And he cannot afford to, trip one of these guys up, pitch them into a spin, because that will instantly, set his fate with the stewarding team. And he needs to make a clean, decisive pass as he looks to have a much closer run through Curva Grande. Hopefully it can get into Redofilio with not too much issue. Ducks to the inside. Is he going to break later?
He's going to send it.
He's got the pressure tires. Will he get it stopped? Oh, just about.
Oh.
And he just gets it stopped, and he will cover off. He'll go, there's a little bit of a nose there still from Robinson, but I think he will just have the tire life to keep around. Oh, he's gone actually quite wide.
Giacomin's gone very deep, and he hasn't been able to bring the car around. So Robinson's going to bring it back in for the second Lesmos. They're going to be side by side. There's a touch.
No.
And Giacomin's gone out into a spin. He's into the dirt.
He's in the fence. Oh, that's decisive. That could literally.
That's going to bring the battle closer. That's spicing this race up.
Absolutely. So he was entitled to the space, but I think Robinson may have just had a little bit overcommitted there into the corner and forced Giacomin wide there. I'd be very interested to potentially get a replay on that one, on who knocked who, but we'll see that Yoda now is right up on the back of Robinson, trying to make his way through down the inside. He's touched a bit of a grass on the inside there, and he's not going to have the pace. So you see there from race control, last lap, and Giacomin's gone wide again. Tufig with a 153.7, and Giacomin well into the 54s. I think Robinson's just like, I need a breather. I haven't taken a breath in the last 2.5 minutes. So Giacomin is now doing a 159. So that 7 to 8 second gap between Giacomin and Tufig has absolutely come down, and Giacomin's got to make it past Weatherburn all over again. So predicted margin less than 1 second from race controls. So this is absolutely spicing things up.
Rain has stopped. The sun is out. The track is now up to 29. I didn't think maybe a possibility with 15 minutes. That's enough time, I think, for this track to get a decent amount of dried out. But we shall see.
Look at it, it already is.
So last lap or two, I think it was about 2 or 3 laps ago, the rain had stopped. But in the last lap or so, the sun has started to peak. That track is, and it's still, the sun's still going to be out for the next 10 minutes or so. So that is definitely going to, as we see a McLaren taking the esports line through the first chicane. But yeah, that sun's coming out, and it will definitely, I mean, you can see now that there is already a dry line starting to form on track. So those wet tires in the next 15 minutes, they're going to be screaming.
Well, you got 10 minutes to decide what you're going to do as well for in particular Taufik and Hignett, of what you're going to do for your last mandatory tire stop. You'll have to take something. What will it be? I think, obviously the wet tire will still reign supreme now, as Taufik gets held up by Brown a little bit here on the exit of Lesmo 2. Loses a little bit of time. That won't be ideal, but yes, I wonder if they've been fed any information about what's happened to Giacomin, because surely some drivers have the capacity to watch a stream on the side or have the commentary go in the background. I'm definitely not one of them, but I know some drivers like to have an ear to things, or have teammates in their Discord channels or TeamSpeak channels feed the information, do a bit of radio race engineering for them. But because if you have that information, you can be reactive to it. That's the thing. As we get a replay now of what happened to Giacomo and Robinson. It looks like Giacomo sends up this side, just gets his stop, but does compromise severely his exit. Good race driving from Robinson, could have easily gone into the back of him, having Giacomo basically stopped on the second apex. Giacomo kind of sends it a bit too hard into Lesmo 1. There's more water on the exit as well, which kind of just compromising severely. But yes, I think there is a little bit of a left-hand movement from Robinson that unfortunately might have decided Giacomo's fate. But that was the thing. Like that was the risk as well. Also, just battling with people, and unfortunately, that early stop strategy. Whether he didn't take enough fuel to go any longer, that's unfortunately might have affected his race, regardless of whether anyone was at fault for that Lesmo 2 incident, which I think the stewards will be apportioning blame to one party.
Yep, so potential for a little bit of red mist to be developing in the cabin of the 313 Ferrari. And we might see Giacomo potentially scramble a little bit to try and remake up that time to Tufik, who is still out and yet to make a final pit stop. I do wonder if he's waiting for the conditions of the track to change from wet to potentially damp. The track is at 29 degrees. It is quite warm out there. There is a dry line forming, so I wonder if he's thinking about committing to dry tyres in his final stint. We see that it's very unlikely that it's going to rain between now and the rest of this race. There's only 12 minutes left, and we can still see that within 10 minutes it still will be sunny coming into the end of this race. So I wonder if he's thinking about committing to dry tyres.
I'm wondering, I'm of the same thing. I'm wondering if he's thinking of just staying out, seeing how far he can stretch and how dry the track will come.
As long as he's got the fuel to do so, I think logic dictates when they were fueling for their first stop, whether they were going to go this far into the race.
So stewards have made their decision. Robinson has picked up a 10-second penalty for that collision on Giacomo. So the stewards, who have all the camera angles here, they have had a look at all the different angles in the bunker, and they have determined that Robinson did in fact cause a bit of a collision there between him and Giacomo. So it's definitely spicing things up. I do wonder if Giacomo is able to make up some of that pace. Jump on board with Rashuti, who has opened that lead up on Vintner. We're on board with Brown, who is still working the wheel left, right, like it's nobody's business.
Just keeps kicking out of corners. But like commenting on the whole race lead situation, can Giacomo sort out his nerves and kind of the red mist and the frazzle by the time Tafik and Hignett pit to kind of keep the nerves calm to battle them? Because if he can't, it could all that is. Yep, Jake, tell your mum about that one, mate. Jesus.
You can take your foot off the accelerator, mate. You can. As we look, last lap, Giacomo did a 52.9. Tufik also doing 52.9. So
I was going to say, kept an eye on things. They're kind of matching pace. They were doing low 53s and now doing 52s as the track is obviously definitely drying out. Now just gone damn, literally right there.
Yep, so it will be sunshine for the rest of this race. We have less than 10 minutes to go, and on the 10-minute mark, it is still drying out. So we've gone from a wet track to a damp track. How fast do we think it will go from damp to greasy? It's anybody's tell. Tafik is in the pits. Hignett has decided to keep going, so we do wonder, will
Tufik now?
Will Tafik take dries? I think is the big question. I think either way, if he I think the pace will still be relatively similar if he goes on dries, but it will be a little bit sketchy if he does come under attack.
Moving now.
He's moving. He's
quite
out
early
on
in the
wet
pit lane, so
tires.
he's got a bit to go still. Those are still wets. They're wet.
He's still on wet, so I imagine G. Coman and Tufik are on the same tyre. G. Coman comes around Parabolica now. He's coming into the final straight. Tufik is leaving and he's
the line.
Turned the limiter off now, so it is going to be very close. And I think Tufig's going to have it here. If he can hold the defensive line, it's going to force G. Coman wide into turn 1.
Do it the dry line. Can he get it?
Tufig is in front. He's gone a little bit deep into turn 1. He's going to have it through turn 2. There's a bit of a nudge and shove there from G. Coman. He's not having any of that. He wants to get side by side as best as he can. Tufig's going to hold the inside line down into Cova Grande, but it's going to be G. Coman who's got the...
Needs to transition across.
He's going very wide. He's covering him off very well. That is a excellent move from... as we see G. Coman absolutely slide it down the inside. It's going to be side by side. There's going to be a lot of argy-bargy through here. G. Coman's gone a little bit wide. He's going to catch a little bit of the dirt. Tufig's going to have... there's a bit of a push and shove there from G. Coman saying, get out of the way. Tufig's going to have the inside line for Lesmos 1. Is he going to have it for Lesmos 2? G. Coman slides a little bit on exit. And it looks like Tufik has managed to survive that ordeal and keep G. Coman behind him. So he is now leading this race with 7.5 minutes to go.
He's also going to come under fire for at least the rest of this lap. Don't.
What an absolute send across the curves. That's going to push it in. There it is.
Well, see,
that's desperation.
That's the red mist that we were talking about earlier. That's the desperation to get, as you said, Cam, get the move done. It's just that
it was too
could
far
have
back. You need to be alongside for that corner. You can't just send it like you're Verstappen. That's not happening at that corner.
Yeah, especially with the line over the curb on the inside there. Just if you send it with too much speed, you just make the car unpredictable, and you can't control it with a car on your outside there. So that's a bit sloppy from G. Coman.
Hignett has to box this lap. He will not be able to go around again, so he will be coming in to stop. Same with Brad Cook as well. And I'm wondering if Taufik and G. Coman cost themselves just enough time to bring Hignett into this fight.
Well, Hignett was only 3 seconds behind Tufik, I think, before he made the pit.
Lost that in just that last lap.
In just that last lap, while they were absolutely going toe-to-toe, this could potentially open up the door for Hignett, and Hignett could come through for a surprise sneaky win.
They're just coming through Parabolica now. And it definitely will be boxing because they can't get around again. So into the box for Hignett and Cook. I think Cook definitely probably not in the fight for this, but Hignett, I'd definitely say is one to watch.
Yep, so Hignett's in, Cook's in.
With the fighting of Jack Homan and Tufik right now, definitely could shore up some time because Hignett was only 2 seconds behind Tufik.
Gamble slicks.
Do we reckon Hignett's going to gamble slicks?
Lucas Keys in the chat. He's the last box, so he will. He's only just started his box. It's 30 seconds now. Same with Brad Cook at one of the very end boxes as well. But he won't have far to go once he drops off those jacks.
That's very true. So we've got the front runners.
Provisional
front runners now. They're coming through Parabolica.
Do you think Taufik would have called his number with that collision that they had at Ascari? Because I feel like
you nearly have to. You nearly have to.
He's going. He's going.
He's going. He's moving. I think Hignett's going to have them here.
Dead on the line.
Not quite.
Oh, he's got to go.
I think he'll have second at the least. Oh, it's right there. But I think there's
this is going to be
enough.
Absolute chaos between the three of them.
Unlike Jake Coman, he doesn't send it,
just
but
on the toe.
That might...
That's going to be a track cut. That might be actually potentially... I don't know if the stewards are going to look at that because...
I think he only made it because he...
These two have never been beside each other on track before. Oh, I'm upset.
Jake Coman's got a 10-second penalty for causing that collision with Tufik.
SG30.
Cook's got the stop-go 30 for speeding in pits.
Jake Coman's all over the show.
Oh, here
what
we
is
go.
going on?
Tufig managed to go deep into both chicanes. He has jumped the curbs a couple of times. Giacomo's going to send it right up the inside of Hignett, but Hignet's going to keep it around the outside, knowing that Giacomo's got 10 seconds. He's just going to let that one go. They've never seen each other on track before. He has no idea what Giacomo's capable of. Giacomo's going to try and send it towards Tufig now. Hignett might be in a smarter position to see if these two bang doors again. There's only 3.5 minutes left on track. We'll see what happens here. Giacomo, he's not going to be able to make up that 10-second penalty, but he'll try and see if he can at least lose Hill and Raschuti in the process, as they've gone very wide out there. Oh, as everyone takes the wide line, everyone using up their tokens. And Ray Smith brings in the fastest lap of a 51.9 as these guys continue to battle on a damp track.
Early turning point for Taufik, but it's gotten away with it on a little bit on the exit. And yeah, if I'm Hignett, I would feel like, you know, Taufik kind of only got that lead back because he basically braked way later than he should have, and he didn't make the corner. So that'll be interesting to see whether that comes up in the stewards room at all.
I do wonder if a number will be called for that one, because he did go into a defensive line and then go off track and cut the course. So that is, as we see,
off track. Get out of the way.
Track, please don't go back on.
Oh, this is, yeah, I feel like he only got the gap for the lead by braking super late and cutting the corner as well. But you're seeing 3 different lines going through the corners between these 3 right now. So I don't know. It depends on the mettle of Taufik and if Giacomo's gonna try and
is that a touch? Is that a touch? That is definitely a touch.
Oh, he has to back off it.
The track has gone greasy too, so I do wonder, is there a chance that we get to see what tyres Hignett chose? Because the front runners are on wets and they will be burning. So does Hignett potentially have the upper hand here of running dry tyres at this point in time?
I want to say I just saw a yellow mark on his tyres, but I'm not certain.
Diebols in chat is saying that Hignett is on dries. So Hignett is running the dry tyre on a greasy track. That is where the crossover is.
Look at Giacomo and Taufik. They're finding the wet lines, they're weaving and stuff, whereas Hignett's sticking directly to the dry line.
Oh, is it going to be too little too late? This won't be the last lap, but next lap will be. Ben Cook will be kicking himself because with Giacomo's penalty, that's probably a free podium gone.
Yeah, he managed to jump Hill in the pits, so he will be very upset with that stop-go.
Giacomo might actually still stay ahead.
There it is. Tufig has a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Hignett is currently in the lead. 3 out of the top 4 drivers with penalties. Hignett is on.
He doesn't need to lose time here. He needs to stay within 5 seconds as Taufik goes deep again. Taufik is all over the road. He's lost all his composure in these conditions.
First and third.
Do you just follow them and not try? Like, I can't watch.
Hignett, 5. It's all you have to do. 5 seconds. But you can't, like, if he sticks behind him, what if Giacomo slows him up and loses the gap? What do you do? What do you do?
If gap car. That is all drivers.
These two are not helping their cases. They're going wide. They're going off track. They're not getting their lines right. And here comes Hignett past Giacomo.
He wants it. He wants the win on track. He wants the P1 position on track. As we come through the Lesmos 2 for the last time, we see Tufik there is on wets. His tyres will be screaming. Hignett is on dries. He will be on the pace advantage at this point in time. Will Hignett get P1 on track? He has provisional P1 at this point in time based on the penalties that have been served.
Surely you just stick behind him. Giacomo was probably the more antsy of the two. And it's all... Oh, as he clambers the curb as well. You don't need to do that, please.
Don't lose it now.
Fastest lap again for Ray Smith into the 50s. And they come round here to Parabolica. Is Taufik ahead on the road, but I dare say it's not going to finish that way as Benjamin Hignett is right on his gearbox, slithering and sliding all the way to the line. But with the penalties for the top 4, it is not going to matter, but it will be a dead heat on track. 0.0036
And this win will go to Benjamin Hignett in an absolute climactic finish as Giacomin comes in and doesn't even take the finish on track, only via the pit lane. Brad Cook with plus 60-second penalty. Graham Hill coming out in the BMW for P5 on track, but I dare say he'll go forward from there. Ricciuti, Wittner, Barker, Greco, and we look to see as Greco comes through the back last corner, and also Jake Brown for a good recovery drive for the silver lead. Wow, boys. Wow.
The absolute definition of it is not over until it is over.
That's great. Great. It's looking at a move on Weberman on the outside. Oh my God, keep it clean. There is a touch. And it's going to send Manic a ping off. They both go off. Ray Smith might get both of them. And he does. Oh dear.
That was a race of high and lows. This has been holy dooly. As you watch going into Scari. Oh, there's a touch towards
each other.
Good save by Julian Gray to kind of keep it out of the wall, but Ray Smith is the benefactor of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
what an absolute race that was. It's hard to believe that 70 minutes ago was... That just seems so long ago now. There's so much has just happened in this race.
It was all a bit line formation for about 60 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes is when it really started to kick off. Wow. I'm genuinely somewhat speechless to see the end of that race. You couldn't have scripted it at all.
Green light, go.
As we jump to the final timing boards, Connor, do you want to take us away, mate?
Yep. So after that eventful race, we had Ben Hignett took the win with the alternate strats and the big gamble. Tafik after the penalties in P2. Jack Coman is going to stay in P3.
Look at the difference.
Oh, that is so close. That is unreal. Hill in P4, Ricciuti in P5, and that's your top 5 overall for the race. As we go to the silver class, Jake Brown takes that out with Ray Smith in second. In the Pro-Am class, we have Greco in first, Rad in second, Fercolini in third. And going to the Am boys, we have Gray in first, Robson in second, Beaton in third, and Miller in fourth. Oh, lads, ladies and gentlemen, lads, everyone watching, what a race.
What a race. Who was your driver of the day, boys?
Well, it's pretty hard to go past. It's pretty hard to go past Ben Hignett with the call, the strategy call. Yeah, there's luck involved in it, but at the same time, that makes up a part of racing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Making that decision to jump onto dries when he did was a fantastic one. I think Tufig also did an amazing job getting in front of Giacomin there, and he'll probably be my driver of the day. And Cam?
Yeah, I kind of like, despite the last minute chicane at the first corner, I think that's the only real error that Taufik made that whole race, and he spent a long time keeping Hignett behind him the whole race, and benefacted when it mattered, but unfortunately just at the last moment a key mistake did decide it. But still my driver today as well.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, for our split green retake of round 4 at Monza. Tune in tomorrow night for our second take 2 at Monza with split red.
See you all there.
See you all.
Catches.